Since 1979, Vietnam has conducted a national population and housing census every 10 years. The last census showed that Vietnam's population at April 1st, 2009 was 85.8 million. What is Vietnam's population in 2019? How is the population structured by ages, regions, and genders? The information will be obtained from the 5th Population and Housing Census officially taking place from April 1st, 2019.
Tổng điều tra dân số và nhà ở năm 2019 có ý nghĩa cực kỳ quan trọng và có ý nghĩa rất là lớn đối với các cái nhà quản lý và đông đảo người dân. Nó thể hiện ở mấy cái nội dung như này. Thứ nhất là cái thông tin từ Tổng điều tra dân số và nhà ở sẽ là thông tin rất quan trọng để giúp cho Đảng, Quốc hội, Chính phủ, các cấp, các ngành và các địa phương đánh giá cái tình hình thực hiện chiến lược phát triển kinh tế xã hội của giai đoạn 2011-2020 và đánh giá cái tình hình thực hiện các cái kế hoạch phát triển 5 năm giai đoạn 2011-2015 và 2016-2020 cũng là cái căn cứ thông tin để mà xây dựng cái chiến lược phát triển kinh tế xã hội của giai đoạn 2021-2030.
The national census requires the participation of many state agencies and the support of international organizations, typically the United Nations Population Fund (UNFPA).
You are watching Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 NetViet channel. The 2019 Vietnam National Population and Housing Census is going to begin on the 1st of April. So this is the 5th such census of Vietnam. In today's program, we will discuss more this important event. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Astrid Bant, the UNFPA representative in Vietnam. Thank you very much for joining our program. We know that the National Population and Housing Census is conducted regularly each 10 years, but some people say that it is too far from the 2009 to 2019, while Vietnam economy and society and population have been developed rapidly.
Yes.
So what do you think about this?
Well, as I said, the population housing census is an enormous undertaking. It takes an enormous budget, and it takes, I think there's 120,000 enumerators going to work on this. So it's hard to do that every year, right?
Of course.
We do a intercensal survey halfway after 5 years, and that's a smaller scale, but we see if our projections are still on track. Because once we've done the survey and we know, for instance, how many people exist in this country, then we can project how many people there will be next year and the year after. And that's probably quite accurate. But after 5 years, you want to check it again. In other countries that are further along in having administrative data, they do it every 5 years because they don't have to go from house to house to get many of those indicators. They can just take them from the birth registration, from the death registration, from hospitals, from divorce figures. And these figures are just available from the mechanisms that work on those surfaces. We're not there yet, so we do it every 10 years. But as I said, there is a midpoint in which we check if we're still on track.
Yes, I see. So I want to know how does UNFPA support General Statistics Office of Vietnam conducting this census?
Well, I think I just gave you some examples, but we took them to Japan, and they looked at how Japan deals with doing their census. We looked at all these options, and that was the decisions, of course, are the governments, but it's very interesting to see what the options are, how other countries have done it, and the pilots gave us some idea of. We also helped sampling, which is more of a technical concept, and then we helped train the enumerators. There is an enormous amount of enumerators being trained, and now we are going to go with GSO to the different provinces and just accompany them to see how things are going and make sure that the quality of the collection of the data is according to national and international standards.
Until now, what are your comments on the General Statistics Office of Vietnam's preparation for the census?
You know, the preparations have started already 3 years ago, and I've seen people work really, really hard and mature their ideas of how they wanted to go about this census. I think there's an outreach program to communicate the census to the general public. There is great coordination with the provinces and the people's committees all around the country. So I have a great faith that it will all go really well and the way it should go. Of course, it's the first time that we're doing this electronically, so we hope that the electronics will be with us. But I would say that the preparation is there, and I think the willingness of the people of Vietnam to participate in this and understanding the importance of their participation for the future of the country, I think it will go well.
The seminars and conferences to prepare for the census have continuously been conducted since 2017. Through these training courses, provincial officials are fully equipped with skills and knowledge about how to conduct a census. Then they in turn will provide further training to local enumerators.
Tổng cục Thống kê với là tư cách là một cái đơn vị được giao chủ trì đầu mối thì chúng tôi đã chủ động và thực hiện rất là sớm rồi, từ cách đây vài năm rồi, một loạt các công tác chuẩn bị liên quan này, từ xác định nội dung, từ xác định cái thiết kế bảng hỏi, rồi đến việc xác định các phương pháp, hình thức thu thập thông tin, rồi chọn mẫu và xây dựng một loạt các quy trình khác, thì chúng tôi đã chủ động làm rất là sớm.
The highlight of the 2019 census is the application of information and communication technology to all phases of the process. In particular, two main data collection methods will be used: direct interview and field information on smart mobile electronic devices and household to provide their information to census website. In previous census and surveys, enumerators had to bring with them a lot of papers and questionnaires. But now, with just a small device such as a tablet or a smartphone, people of all ages, from the elderly to the young people, can help the enumerators work quickly and easily.
Việc mà áp dụng cái khoa học công nghệ vào trong điều tra thống kê là rất cần thiết, vì nó sẽ giúp cho cái việc cái phiếu điều tra của chúng ta nó chính xác hơn, và cái thời gian mà thu thập thông tin tại địa bàn thì nó sẽ nhanh hơn.
Đảm bảo tính bảo mật và an toàn dữ liệu là một cái bài toán đặt ra, cần phải có những cái phương án dự phòng rủi ro đối với việc ứng dụng công nghệ thông tin, thì chúng tôi cũng đang tiếp tục nghiên cứu để có thể thực hiện được các công việc này.
The preliminary survey results will be disseminated in July 2019, and the final census results will be disseminated in the second quarter in 2020. The census data is very important in guiding the economic development goals of Vietnam in the coming years.
So tell me what UNFPA and other UN agencies expect from the census.
We expect to have updated information on the number of people, the distribution in rural and urban, so that we can say more about migration process, so that we can say more about fertility, how many how many children are born per woman. Is that still flat or is it going down? How many elderly people are in the society, and what is the proportion? How is it going with schooling? Not just in the cities, but also in the rural areas. And then we have some new questions as well. That are some of the new questions are about adolescence. So previously we would usually measure from 19 to 49 issues around women's issues, right? But now we are asking 10 to 50. So we will find out more about behaviors of young people. Also, we did that because we want to know more about the phenomena of child marriage, adolescent pregnancy. So we really expect a wealth of very high quality data that we can say in this province or in that district there is this problem among women or among men or among people that are older. Everything can be disaggregated by categories, right?
Yeah. So in your opinion, how will the census contribute to the country's efforts to fulfill the 2030 agenda for sustainable development, especially for its sustainable development goals to ultimately leave no one behind?
What we have found is that from the census we will be able to answer the 15% of the indicators of the Sustainable Development Goals. So there's an overlap. And it will give a very rich and qualitative baseline for those indicators. On the other hand, the information that comes from the census will function as a denominator for many of the other indicators, which means only if you know how many people there are in total, it's meaningful to know how many people have jobs, right? So the denominator is important, and we will get that from the census. And in another way, I think the census, as you said yourself, is the instrument to indicate who is being left behind. And maybe not only that, it can also tell us who is going forward, and we can learn from that. But ultimately, it's important for us to see that everybody in the country has its access to the benefits of being a citizen of this country and of its overall development. So, you know, the type of disaggregated information that the census gives is a very important tool for that. So I think the government, people's organizations, and many international organisms will be very happy to start working with that information.
Once again, thank you very much for your meaningful sharing.
Thank you for your meaningful questions. Thank you very much.
By the state agencies' elaborate preparation and the support from Vietnamese people as well as international organizations, I'm hoping that the census will be conducted safely. And that's all we have for this episode of Sharing Vietnam. For more information, please email us at sharingvietnam@netviet.tv.net. Thank you for watching. Goodbye for now.